Hey, all you Misties out there. Mystery Science Theater 3000 is doing a live show in September, and we've got two of the best brains behind MST3K here to tell you all about it.
So, live in orbit from the satellite of love, it's Artifacts.
Hello, everybody. I'm Janet Zahn.
And I'm Phill, Lindsay, and this is Artifacts, the show in which we talk about the arts and related issues in the Minneapolis area. Now, we've got a great lineup of guests again this month, including visual artist Karess, who did this right here, performer Rexx Garvin, and award-winning musician Karen Mueller.
And while we aren't, in fact, broadcasting from the satellite of love, we do have two wonderful guests from the Peabody Award-winning hit comedy Mystery Science Theater 3000 with us. Now, if you're not familiar with the show, which is produced right here in the Twin Cities, watch this clip carefully and you'll get the idea.
Everybody wants a strong America, and we all want the same man to pay for it.
Ross Perot.
George. Let George do it.
I disagree with you. I don't want to let George do it.
You must be the exception.
No, I'm George.
I like you. I kill you last.
Everyone wants George to do it.
Except George.
I think I just said that joke.
A very good joke, but wars are not won by making jokes.
God, every party needs a pooper.
To win a war,
You need brandy, lots of
the
it.
nation must concentrate.
I could use a man like you in my organization. Norm!
Must go home and kill parents.
And as promised, this is just going to be a fun show. I have with me a young lady that we've talked, some months earlier this year. She bills herself as the ultimate recycling pop artist, Karess. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks for being here. And what you're looking at here between Karess and myself is one example of the kind of thing you do, which is great fun. Do you want to describe this and a little bit about what you do with your work?
Okay, this is a rubber baby buggy bumper, and it's all recyclable from the Goodwill, Salvation Army, garage sales, and 2 weeks in the making.
2 weeks?
Yeah, oh, 2 years, I'm sorry.
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years in the making.
Yeah, and people think that it's just something you knock together like this. How do you have a count? How many tykes are in this?
I did not count it. No, I don't.
It's well over a dozen.
Yeah, over.
Yeah, I think I was at that party once, but I left before this happened. This is great fun. Now, in reading about you, and you had a wonderful exhibit along with your brother at Lutheran Brotherhood.
Correct.
And in some of the material for that, you mentioned a couple of things I found interesting. One of your goals is to put a smile on people's faces and let them break out laughing. Now, why do you care to do that?
Oh, there's just so much sorrow in the world and on the news that I would like people to look at the piece, forget about all their problems, and be happy, get into the piece.
Well, I know when you rolled this into the studio today, I think everybody's face just broke out with a smile, and this was great. And I would hazard a guess that we taped this in City Hall, downtown Minneapolis, that as you brought this into City Hall, you probably got a couple of smiles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, here they are again. Well, that's great. I have to ask you about the name because your brother has a last name, and you're from an Italian neighborhood in Chicago.
Right.
How did you come up with Karess?
My mom just named me that.
So that's your given...
That's my given birth name. Yes.
That's great.
Thank you.
Does that have an origin of interest? Or
I think my mom read in the paper there was some queen or something, I don't know, by the name of Caressa Mia.
Well, it's pretty.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay.
She shortened it.
Yeah, Karess.
Yes.
Well, we do that here in America.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Great. So what brought you to Minneapolis from Chicago? Or was it a direct route, or did you stop other places?
No, my husband was transferred.
Oh.
He works for Chicago Northwestern Railroad.
Okay, and luckily there was a line running up.
Oh, I was really happy to be here. We were in Iowa before, and there's not much of an art scene out there.
Oh, okay.
He was
That's
transferred there first.
Yeah, okay, so you came up. And you said that you do your work in your studio as your garage.
Yes, in the summertime.
Yeah. But you do large pieces.
Yes, I do.
What do you do with them all?
Oh, they're all over the house. I have a storage room, they're all over the house, and I have another studio in Fridley, and they're over there too.
So basically those northern suburbs are really filling up with Karess.
Oh, really,
That's
really.
Great.
I'm going to need a storage space.
How do you get ideas? I mean, what brought this on?
Oh, I don't know. I saw the buggy, and it needed babies, and that's how the idea originated.
And what's the name of this?
Rubber Baby Buggy Bumper.
I'm sorry?
Rubber Baby Buggy Bumper.
Okay, I just want to see if you could say it twice. That's great. It's a lot of fun. Any hazards in doing something like this? I mean, you've got some paint going here, and...
Well, it's enamel paint. It's pretty hazardous to breathe in.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, now, in addition to this, and looking at the sheet of exhibits, you've been very busy the last few years.
Oh, yes.
And you've won some awards.
Yes.
What can you tell us about the exhibits that you've been doing?
Oh, my last exhibit was the State Fair, and I have the Ronald McDonald piece in there.
Okay, now tell us about that. That's the Ronald McDonald House over by the university.
Right, that's the new Ronald McDonald House that will be opening the beginning of fall. And it's a piece for the children's playroom. It's a bike with about 128 Ronald McDonald toys on it.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, it's fun and bright.
Now, how did they hear about you?
Actually, I was applying for a grant, and I called them up and asked them if they'd like a piece in their home. And I tried out for the grant.
Well, good for you, and then you got it.
No, I didn't get the grant.
Well, you didn't get the grant?
No.
But you got a commission?
I got a commission, and now I'm looking for sponsorship.
Well, good for you.
Yes.
That's great. Now, you mentioned bike, and before we started the show, you mentioned that you have some other aspirations to get things like bikes in front of other audiences. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I'd like to get my bikes in the Shriner Circus, Barnum and Bailey's, for the clowns to ride.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
So you'd have to test that out with the weight of a clown on it or something?
Probably, yeah.
Now, does your husband end up kind of having to get on and testing out some of this stuff?
No, no.
Oh, you don't make him go through that, right?
No, I kind of ride it around the neighborhood when I'm finished with it.
Oh, so you're out there doing this. All right. There goes that artist.
There goes that crazy person.
Yeah, well, that's great. You also want to curate what sounds like a very important and kind of special exhibition.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
1995, I'd like to curate a show called Awareness Alert Women in Breast Cancer. And I'm going on a nationwide search for artists, photographers, performing artists, poets, and speakers.
Okay, so multidisciplinary here, not just the one.
No, no.
Okay.
And we're going towards the American Cancer Society to sponsor our nationwide show.
Okay, now what led you to want to do something about that with such a serious
Okay,
topic?
well, this year I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Okay.
And I had surgery this year, and I'm fine now.
Right. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I'm fine and coming along. And I just feel that I want to scare women into having a mammogram.
Take it seriously?
Yeah, because a lot of women aren't taking this seriously.
Can we talk personally? I mean, had you been doing the regular exams and all that?
No, I wasn't. I
Okay.
just happened to find it, and I was lucky I found it in time.
Yeah, good for you.
Yes.
That's great. Now, so you want to put this exhibit together, which so you'll be traveling a little bit.
Yes.
You want to find different artists, all women artists?
Yes.
Okay. And then what do you need after that? You need sponsors to help give yourself
Put
venues
the show
to,
together, yes.
Yeah, okay. How do you do that? Where do you find those kind of sponsors? A lot of phone calling, cold calls?
Yes, yes. A lot of help from people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if people are interested, they ought to get in touch with you.
That's right. That's
Okay.
correct.
Had you ever done anything like that before?
No.
Okay.
This will be the first.
Well, has your experience surviving cancer changed not so much your professional interest as it will with this exhibit, but what you're putting into your pieces?
Maybe for 1994, because the show will be in black and white, and I'm a very bright, colorful artist.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that in black and white next year. So that's probably the change.
Now, why
and it'll
black?
be solemn.
Okay, is the black and
Solemn
white
show.
part of that solemnity that you're lending
Yes,
it, or
yes.
something like that? Okay, have you talked this over with other artists? or
Well, I
people?
was
What
going to
they
do it
think?
on my own, and I got a couple phone calls that some artists want to collaborate on it. So I've got some interest in it, and I decided that I would collaborate.
Okay. How long have you been in the Minneapolis area?
4 years.
4 years. So relatively fresh eyes for us here.
Yes.
And by way of Iowa, but you had started your art working life in Chicago, I take it?
Actually, subconsciously, I always loved art. I always took a lot of classes. And it just hit Minneapolis here when I bought a bike 4 years ago. And then my style developed, and there's no stopping me now.
So bicycles are a big part of this?
Oh, a very big part.
And
I must
even
have
wheels.
about 10 bicycles decorated.
Really?
Hanging all over my studio.
Okay.
Yes.
But now you had, and your brother is an artist, so
Yes.
the siblings had some artistic interest. And I should mention too, for folks who did not get a chance to see your joint exhibit at the Lutheran Brotherhood in July, I think, his work is very different from yours.
Yes.
Can you describe that a little bit?
Yeah, he's a wood and stone sculptor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, well, abstract or sort of subjective
It is
images.
abstract,
Yeah.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, and very smooth, beautiful, polished sorts of
Right.
things.
And not much color.
Yeah, that's true. Monochromatic.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking of what you've got here. Had you two ever exhibited before?
No, this is our first time together.
Why did you want to?
Oh, I just felt he had work that needed to be shown.
Okay.
And he just does a lot of carving in his garage, and a lot of people just come there to buy his work, and I felt he needed to be seen. And Lutheran Brotherhood was a perfect place for his work, I thought.
Well, it's a very nice, if people have not seen any exhibit there, I think every month they have some exhibit in there.
Oh, yes.
Nearly every month.
And I feel, as an artist, that is the best place in Minneapolis to show. It's a beautiful
plenty
place.
of space, for one thing, and the light comes in on that bank of windows there.
And it's marble, and
Yeah.
they
That
have,
sets off what you do very well.
right, and they have pedestals, and they put out the flyers, so
Yeah.
it's,
Well, we've got time for maybe one more question.
Okay.
And besides that one project, the black and white that you're doing next year, any other fun projects in the works? Anything that you're playing with in your mind?
oh, there are a lot of things
Yeah.
going on in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Karess, I want to thank you for bringing this piece, and it's called?
Rubber Baby Buggy Bumper.
Okay, and there'll be a quiz for our viewers in just saying that. So call into the City Cable 34 hotline, and if you can say it, then maybe you could do it. So, Karess, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Phill. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, well, my next guest is going to be Rexx A. Garvin. But first, the Minnesota Association of Commercial Producers will present the art and technique of the American television commercial on Monday, September 19th at Theatre de la Jeune Lune. Now, this is an exhibit of television commercials from all across the country that are being honored for their excellence in a number of categories. And those categories include sound design, production, special effects, and cinematography. Now, we're going to show you one of the Minneapolis-produced spots that was chosen for this exhibit, and it was directed by Ali Selim of Bridge Builder Productions for Heinz Ketchup. Congratulations, Ali. Let's take a look at this piece.
Comedy stylings of Monty Levesque.
Thank you. How you doing? Good. Say, I ran into Cinderella at the photo store the other day. She was waiting for a prince. Is this thing working? Oh, New Jersey has a new motto. If it ain't Hoboken, don't fix it. Thank you. Somebody out there. Okay, so a grasshopper walks into the bar, and the bartender says, "You know, we got a drink named after you." And the grasshopper says, "Really? You got a drink named Irving?" See, there's a drink named a grasshopper. Thank you. Oh, how many surrealists does it take to screw in a light bulb? A fish! Thank you. You guys are great. Where are you from? Jersey? Guam. Great crowd. Thanks for coming down.
Well, welcome back. I am very pleased to have as my next guest Rexx A. Garvin, a gentleman who, well, he's an actor, he's a comic, a humorist, and frankly, I don't know if you care that I say this, but I think he's a deep thinker, and he's got some things I want to hear, and I wanted you folks to hear. This is kind of a serious segment with a guy who can be very funny. Rexx, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks a lot, Phill. Thanks for having me.
Now, just to set you up a little bit, you are recently here in Minneapolis from Atlanta, where you had been doing stand-up comedy and probably other performing for a while.
Yeah, for a while.
Now, what brought you here?
A friend of mine, the whole vibe, that guy that used to call Prince, he's a symbol now.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
Victor, Steve, Bob, Nathan, whatever you want to call him. This year, ladies and gentlemen, I came here because of that vibe, the time, that whole, when you don't live in Minneapolis and when you live other places, that's what you think of. And by me being an artist, I'm totally in search of, I'm like on that Miles Davis, Charlie Parker thing. I'm on that search for something.
Yeah.
And when I came here, it wasn't here.
But so you came here thinking it might be, from what you'd
I
heard.
came thinking it might be from what I heard, Phill, but when I got here, it ain't here.
Okay, now again, I'm going to start talking like this because you landed on your feet in some ways. I mean, I went and saw you in Lisa Jones' show at the Pillsbury, Combination Skin. Very nice production. You did well.
Thank you.
I want to compliment you too on some of the business you did in there. I got a kick out of that.
Thank you.
So you had luck there, but you're not having luck, what, with the comedy or what?
I'm kind of like I get more into the truth of things. I don't talk to people based on a 9 to 5. I talk to people after the 5 p.m. conversation. I talk to you as if what you would say about me in your living room. Afterwards. And that's how you and I talked when I called you.
That's right.
At your job. We talked as if we were friends from way back.
It felt good.
And that's me. And I don't like fake stuff, which tells me there's a lot of racism here in Minnesota.
Well, and that's the kind of thing. It felt good, but it was hard stuff you were talking about.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
And I find out people here go through denial. And I find out that not people, I don't know everybody. I'm just saying people that I've ran into personally.
Right.
I don't know the whole planet. I don't know everybody in Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul. But I have met a couple of Forrest Gumps in St. Paul, but that's another story. But St. Paul is a deep place, man.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I grew up there a little bit. Yeah.
I think Forrest Gump is originally from St. Paul. He ain't from no Alabama.
All right.
But this is a deep city. I mean, I've lived in the South. I've been around Klansmen, white supremacists, but these are another kind of white people.
Yeah, now you said you would run into Klansmen or, casually, and you'd have a whole different relationship.
That's right.
Maybe a healthier one?
Healthier.
Yeah, talk about that.
Because they know, you know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
They tell you they don't like you.
Yeah.
If you don't like me, tell me.
Yeah.
Hey, we can have a nice time. If you tell me to my face, I don't like you. Hey, we can have lunch. But if you perpetrate and constantly say everything is okay and it's not, and you're stabbing me in my chest and back here, I'm like, that's not healthy.
You're talking about one thing to your face, and then as you say afterwards, they're off somewhere else, and they're talking, or they just marginalize you or whatever.
I can't get behind that. Now, one thing I like the Asian population here, the Orientals. I like them because I noticed that they have a hang up towards blacks in some parts of the country too. But here, they're nicer. Now
Is that right?
Yeah, you get a hello on the street here. I'm into that. I'm into vibes and people.
Yeah.
I can read people very well.
Okay.
And here, they're nice here. I like that about the Asians, Orientals here.
Okay.
But you remind me more of a Frisco type white guy. You're real cool. You're comfortable, and we talk.
Right.
We get through the racial stuff, then we can have a nice conversation.
Right.
Here is strange, and I think that what scares white people here, they don't have a clue about really meeting black people. And I think that when they see these music videos with Snoop Dogg and all these rappers, they think that everybody is like, they think blacks they meet are like that.
Yeah.
Then the scary part about it, when they're riding down the street on Chicago or University somewhere, when they see that, they're like, no,
Oh yeah, even the eyes start shifting. I've noticed that. It's like,
it's that thing they do, and it's like, I'm not Snoop.
Oh yeah.
My name is Rexx Garvin. You haven't met me yet. You haven't talked to me. And you come to my house, you see Rolling Stone albums, you see Grateful Dead, you see Billy Vera when he had hair on top before he got with the Beaters. So you see, I'm that kind of guy. I love all kind of. You see Perry Como, all that kind of stuff. Jerry Vale.
Jerry Vale. You are an eclectic person.
And I go to Karen Carpenter.
Wow.
We only just
They did some deep things, though, I got to tell you.
Mental stuff.
Yeah.
I'm into that mental stuff.
So you're about the first person that I've been talking with in a long time. Probably shows you where I've been coming from. But we were talking Gil Scott-Heron and The Last Poets, and then you were talking about some of the contemporary music of different cultures and either what it's reflecting or what it's maybe pushing the young people into.
It's pushing them into madness.
Yeah.
I told you, I don't call it hip hop. I call it nigga madness.
Yeah.
Because what I mean by that is that it's not music anymore.
Yeah.
But back in the day it was. Like when rap first came out, somebody say, oh, party over here.
Right.
Somebody scream. But now it's like, I'm going to shoot a bee and I'm going to kill a hoe.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, wait a minute.
See, when it first came out, I remember The Last Poets. I got the albums in my house.
It's mental stuff.
And it was poetry, and it was deep, and it was, in their time, it was revolutionary.
Thank you. You don't want to kill, like Public Enemy, Chuck D, mental.
Yeah.
You don't want to kill nobody.
Right.
But this new music, man, it's like if you live in a depressing area, if you got 28 brothers and you got 2 bedrooms and you hear that music on a summer day, boom, boom, you're gonna.
You want to get angry.
You get angry, man. You want to do, and it's hot outside too.
Yeah.
And then you're in the bedroom with 3 brothers and sisters in there. Yeah. And you don't like where you're at. You hear that music.
Yeah.
See, at least back in the 70s, if you live, I know a lot of nice people from the people in the projects and bad neighborhoods get a bad rap. Because they're really nice people.
Sure.
And the projects was meant to be a stepping stone to get yourself out of that situation. It wasn't meant for you to stay there.
That's right.
See,
it wasn't a warehouse.
It was. Thank you. It was meant for you to move on with your life. You don't stay there. Yeah. And that's the problem with this new music. It's making you stay there. I mean, you're glorifying something that's not yours.
Yeah.
Your name's not on the lease. Get out of that. These young brothers. I'm from the hood. Ain't nothing cool about that to me.
You get in trouble saying what you say? Do you say this stuff on stage?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I get booed sometimes too. That's because of HBO Def Jam. Because they're drawing that element now.
Yeah.
You know, and so I noticed when I was talking this way before HBO hit me that Def Jam, I was getting people that was thinking like us.
Right.
Okay, but then, you know, Fuquam started coming, and Shaniqua, they started coming.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wait, he talking about me. Wait a minute. Hey, you know, wait a minute. You know, I was like, uh-oh. You know, that's one of the reasons why I left Atlanta, because they're embracing that hip-hop stuff.
So I've only been to Atlanta once, but I got to say, I found that to be a very hard city.
Oh, man, they still celebrating Garvin to win there, man.
Yeah.
You still see Brett Butler.
There's a lot of money downtown.
Yeah.
And then where I was staying in a motel, I mean, it was rough. I mean, it was watch your door, watch your car.
It's too bad, though. It is. It's too bad, though, because the kids are missing out. You know, and I'm a firm believer by me growing up in a musical household, I think that black people have been kidnapped through their music.
That's a heavy statement. Now, let's short-stop that for a second, because you told me about your father. And I bet 95% of the people out there are going to recognize some tunes that he was responsible for.
He wrote Over the Mountain for Johnny and Joe back in the 50s, and the one everybody knows is Just One Look. Just One Look, that's all.
That goes through my head all the time.
He written that for Doris Troy. And so that's why I grew up in that kind of household where I seen the powers of music, and I met a lot of people of all colors through music. And I know that when this hip-hop came, it was nice at first. But now when this gangster thing came, it's like, okay, something is wrong. And it's scary. I mean, I never heard about drive-bys and all that kind of stuff until this gangster thing came. And people don't want to admit. They go through denial, you know, and it's too bad. And then when they go through denial, something's wrong with me. Well, what are you talking about? Say, oh, okay, I'm wrong. See, that's part of the trick they do. That's why I'm looking for, like, I never thought I would say this. I'm from Mount Vernon, New York originally. And I want to get a house way out in the country, man, be away from people, because I think it's going to be a racial war soon because of a miscommunication and misunderstanding. And I think the people don't talk. That's why everybody I meet, I talk. I talk to white people, black, a Martian with an antenna. Anybody that want to listen, I talk so I can see what make them tick. So we can try to get this thing, so we can find people like us who don't want to get involved in the madness that may happen soon.
I do believe the first thing we got to do is let each other know we're here.
Yeah.
And you do that one-on-one. You obviously do it on stage. Where else does this need to be said? I mean, you're doing your part.
I do mine in theaters.
In theaters.
Yeah, I think that's why I got the show. By the time this airs, probably I've already done it by now. Yeah. But I'm doing something at the old Arizona studios, and I think the kind of shows that I do is much better in a theater setting, because that kind of crowd are intellectuals, and even I have to admit, I met a couple of some cool hip hop young people that are really into some other. Everybody's not a gangster in the gangster rap. You got some people into the hip hop that is into the mental thing. That's my crowd too. 'Cause I have to give some of the young people credit. Anybody that likes my shows, apparently they read a book and they're interested in trying to find answers. You know, they're not like. There's nothing worse than being 21 years old talking about, I'm a gangster, and you're from suburbia.
And then you close it off.
And you close it off. There's nothing else you have. It's like, okay, you're a gangster, and what else do you do? And that's what's so bad. And I think this music is making, like, Eric Roll on Family Matters, music is making him a gangster. Not him, per se, but I'm saying it's making those kind of black kids who, let's say, for example, if a black kid says, I like Bryant Gumbel, who I think is a role model in black history. Oh, man, he's soft. You like that punk? Because the man is articulate and he can read a book. Something's wrong with him. And with some black kids. Look at MC Hammer. Hammer is black. He employed around 100 black people to work with him, but then you got some of the hardcore rappers. Oh, he a punk, man. He a faggot. Wait a minute.
Very disciplined performer.
Disciplined performer.
Very disciplined.
And the Nicholas brothers respected him. James Brown respected him. So I'd rather have my peers respect me. I'd rather have Frank Sinatra tell me, hey, I like your work. That'll just... If Sammy Davis told me that, you know, man, I love your work. If he told me that, I would be excited. I don't need MC Snotboy talking about, yo, man, you dope. Man, get away from me. I don't respect your work. Don't tell me you respect, because you're talking about bitches and hoes. Something's wrong with that. That means you call your mom a bitch and my mother one. And we don't get that. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think black people are test lab experiments, because the people that okay that stuff is white people. They the ones that make the decisions. They're the ones that say, okay, you want a record contract, we'll give it to you.
You're talking about the market, all these forces that just channel people.
The market, that's what I'm saying. If white people next door get mad at us, talk to your own people in the power, who are the powers that be.
Rexx, we got to wrap right now.
Okay.
One last question. You said to me once on the phone that you're thinking of going. You staying around or you leaving?
Gotta go, Phill.
All right, Rexx.
See you later. Peace. Bye-bye. Salam alaikum.
Thanks for at least this time. I hope you come back for a visit.
Hey, bless you, man.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed you. Thanks for having me down.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, after that, let's take a moment. I want us to take a look here at a clip from a film called When Billy Broke His Head and Other Tales of Wonder. Now, this is a serious piece. It's one of several films that will be screened as part of the Director's Showcase TV Families at the Walker Arts Center in September. Now, this film was produced by David Simpson and Billy Golfus, who's from Minneapolis. So let's take a look, and then we'll be back.
It feels just incredible to be on the road again. I've been pretty isolated for 8 years since this car crunched me. Too busy just trying to survive. I went from being so brain damaged I couldn't count change to finishing a master's degree. But this ain't exactly your inspirational cripple story. Part of the fun of being brain damaged is you're constantly having to argue there is, in fact, something wrong. People see the limp, but they don't see the loss of memory, the judgment problems, the going to the bathroom 37 times a night, the difficulty swallowing, the abandonment and isolation. Here I'm going to Chicago for this gathering of disabled people. There are 43 million of us in this country, but we're as invisible as Casper the Ghost. I'd only known a few other disabled people in Minnesota, so nothing prepared me for what I was about to walk into.
Well, we here at Artifacts, when we saw that, not only that clip, but the whole piece, we were quite impressed with it. So we urge you, if you get a chance to go and see that, the Walker Arts Center will be screening that show, that piece there, on Friday, September 16th. They'll have 2 screenings at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. So go and see When Billy Broke His Head. Now, changing the subject a little bit, really kind of an old friend has joined us here. I think when I first met Karen Mueller, I was in tights and you were in burgundy trousers or something. We were out near the Ag Hall of Fame in Bonner Springs, Kansas. And you were playing music.
Mm-hmm.
Karen, welcome.
Thanks.
Karen Mueller is an award-winning champion autoharpist and musician, and you're getting kind of a name for yourself. You've got a CD out here. I'm going to hold this up right now. And this is a recent one. Here, I'll hold it so they can see it. It's called Clarity, Karen Mueller. And you've got quite an array of tunes on there and quite a group of people you're playing with.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun putting that together. It was my main project last summer, and I released it in the fall. It has a wide variety of instruments on it, from Irish bagpipes to bluegrass banjo and fiddle and cello, and I play autoharp and the lap dulcimer. And it's a combination of Celtic tunes, Appalachian American tunes, and contemporary pieces.
And I see names here, well, some of which are by you, or you might have worked it out on a traditional tune. I see Leo Kotke, and a couple guys named Lennon and McCartney.
Yeah, that one, I always say that was a Scandinavian folk song, but I stopped when people started to believe me. It's a cover of Norwegian Wood.
Well, I think in Minnesota, a lot of people would believe that. They'd say, oh yeah, those were our boys that did that.
Yeah, that's it.
That's great. Well, what on a lineup here you've got here? How do you pronounce that? Pipes?
That's the uilleann pipe. That's that Irish bagpipe that I was talking about.
Okay.
Probably the first time an autoharp bagpipe duet has ever been recorded.
Are you pushing boundaries here a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, without reservation.
Yeah, sure. No qualms about it.
Yeah.
It's not just a traditional little sit and strum kind of a thing. It's got a lot of energy to it.
Who's listening to you? Who likes to come and listen to Karen Mueller do her music?
It's kind of a crossover. Some people who like to listen to bluegrass, because I play bluegrass festivals. People who like the things like on the morning show, Minnesota Public Radio listeners. Mm-hmm. I've done a couple of spots with them. Yeah. Irish and folk.
Which I'm sure as a performer is good for you. You have a lot of venues you can go to, and it's beautiful music, I have to say. We really did meet at the Kansas City Renaissance Festival, and you were there with a group called Full Circle.
Full Circle, back in '85 probably.
Yeah, well, maybe even a little earlier.
'84 maybe.
In fact, if we could, I happened to scrounge an old picture from those days with one of your partners, actually. I think we'll pull it up on the screen right about now. And this was you with, there you go.
Oh, yeah, Phill.
You look remarkable. There, we're actually indicating which one is Karen. And that's your old partner.
Oh, God, that's funny.
Isn't that something?
That'd be Deborah Pine there.
Deborah, yeah.
And there's those burgundy balloon pants that we all had to wear.
Yes.
At least I didn't have to wear tights.
No, they made the guys do that,
Yep.
I think, or something, so that was good. But anyhow, that was a pleasure, and it's nice to see you back here. But you were from Kansas? Or
Kansas,
yeah, at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, so all of a sudden we're sitting here in Minneapolis. What the heck brought you up here? I mean, there's a scene in Kansas and certainly Kansas City.
There's a real nice scene in Lawrence, where I lived for about 8 years. I went to college at the University of Kansas there, and I liked the town so much that I stayed. And it's a real fun, hip, artsy little place to stay, but it's a bit on the limited side. You know, you can just stay there your whole life and have a great time and not feel like you've really pushed yourself. And that's what I was looking for when I moved up here 5 years ago now.
It's been 5 years already.
Almost 5.5.
Yeah. Well, now I have to just say this. I mean, there you are, another thing that Lawrence has going for it. It's almost smack dab in the middle of this country.
Right.
What took you up to the land of the north wind and everything here, as opposed to, I suppose, the West Coast, or you could have gone out east? I mean, what about Minneapolis?
I could have. It was real familiar. It was familiar territory. My mom grew up in Minnesota. I still have relatives in St. Paul. And I had a bunch of friends who had migrated up here from Lawrence who were involved in the theater scene. And so I'd come up and visit, and I'd go nuts trying to cram in as many theater and music productions as I could in a weekend until I just decided to make the break and try it myself.
And here you are. Well, I want to talk more about your career and what you're doing with your recordings, but you were nice enough to bring your instrument and offer to play a tune or two.
I'll sure be glad to. Kick it over. This is my old faithful instrument here, and I'm going to put on some finger picks.
Okay,
right
I've often
hand.
thought that autoharps as a piece of work are beautiful in themselves. I just find them attractive.
They're development of the zither, which is a real intriguing and complex instrument. And the thing that made this unique and a patentable thing, it received a patent about 100 years ago, were these buttons down here.
Oh.
And you can push a bar down and get a chord just like that. The way most of us were introduced to this thing was to have it flat on the lap. And you push a button and you strum across the strings. When I first heard it playing melody like real music, that was when I really fell in love with it. It's been about 16 years now. So a good chunk of my life has been taken up with this instrument now.
So what are you going to play?
I'm going to do that Cockcue piece.
Oh, good. Okay.
It's a tune called Mona Ray. That was one of my favorites from way back when it first came out on an album called Dreams and All That Stuff. And it was re-released on My Father's Face album. And I worked it out, figured it worked pretty well. So give it a shot.
Thanks. nice. Thank you, Karen.
Thanks.
That's good. Do you play other instruments?
Yeah, I do.
What else?
I play guitar and the dulcimer, as I mentioned before, and the mandolin.
Yeah.
And I've played a little on the bass and the Irish bouzouki, which is an overgrown mandolin.
Ah.
And a little piano. That's what I started out on as a kid. So.
Wow. Okay. So mom or dad said, "You ought to listen to this. You'll like this, huh?"
They said, "You want to play the piano, don't you?"
And
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you see your first Autoharp?
In Sunday school class.
Seriously?
Yeah, yeah. This teacher put it flat on her lap and she did that strumming thing.
Yeah.
And I hated it. I made fun of it.
Because of the way it looked or sounded or what?
It looked fake. As one of our, I don't remember if it was you or one of our other mates at the Renfest once hailed out to me, "An actress with an Autoharp. She is not, seeing me play."
Oh, I would
musically.
never have said that.
You
no.
would not have said that.
No.
But the reputation is that somebody poses with the thing and just kind of strums and uses it as a prop.
And declaims Shakespeare or something.
And just doesn't keep it in tune either. That was the problem. When these things, there are 36 strings, and it's got to be regulated.
How often does it go out of tune?
It depends a lot on the weather.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to leave it in a car or any of that kind of stuff when it's too hot
probably
or too
never.
cold.
But is this a particularly hard climate here? I mean, we go from 90 degrees in the summer to...
It's so extreme. My first month here, since I moved in the middle of winter, really.
Good timing.
Yeah, it was it was so dry inside, and I hadn't realized it was so excessive that one of my other instruments cracked down the back.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I learned about those little humidifiers you put in your case and things like that.
Tricks of the trade. Well, that's great. Any favorite places to play in the Twin Cities for you?
I have played at a number of restaurants, coffee houses, things like that. I really enjoyed the Ginkgo Coffee House over in St. Paul.
Yeah.
I did my album release concert there.
Good for you.
Last fall, and had a standing room only.
Oh, congratulations.
Crowd. It was really fun.
And I've heard you on the radio more than once. Phill Nussbaum, we were talking earlier.
Right.
Had you on. What's the name of his morning show?
Bluegrass Saturday Morning on KBEM.
Yeah.
Great program.
Yeah. Very knowledgeable interviewer, I must say. And
he's a great announcer.
We've got just a couple more minutes. Would you do one more tune?
Sure.
Selfishly, I'd just love to hear your music.
Sure.
That'd be great.
How much?
Now, as you're getting your picks on there, there's a number people can call if they wanted to know where to see you or hear you.
Right. You can call 649-4493 and leave a message. And if you're interested in CDs or lessons, I do that, or being on my performance mailing list.
Okay.
You can call there. I also do programs for kids and for schools.
Right, and you instruct.
And I instruct.
Okay.
And I'm in a band called Strawberry Jam, and we do kids programs.
Sounds good. Now, what's this tune?
I'll do a little bit of an Irish tune here for you.
Perfect.
It's called Ship in Full Sail, little jig.
Erin Mueller and her patented Autoharp. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
That was great. Now, coming up next, Janet and I will be back with our guests from Mystery Science Theater 3000, and in their honor, and yours, we thought we'd force you to watch a bad movie a la the Misty 3000, folks.
The Woody Allen story.
Hey, I like my family as a friend.
All of who are orphans.
Not our story.
This boy and girl coming home from school look quite content with life. And why not?
They're high.
They're looking forward to an important date, dinner at home with the family.
Sylvia?
What's the matter?
Oh, there's a rabbit in
Does that
there.
sound exciting to you? Well, to them, it's a special occasion, as it has been ever since they sat down to dinner in high chairs. Why should they feel that way about something you take so completely for granted?
Look at him.
Well, let's see if we can find out.
We secretly switched their Folgers coffee.
First of all, daughter has changed.
Welcome back, everybody. With us right now are two of the best brains in the Twin Cities. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have Frank Conniff here, Kevin Murphy there, who are working with Mystery Science 3000, the cult. Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah, this is an art experience, so don't forget the theater part.
That's very true. That's very true. Both of them are here with us today to talk a little bit about a couple of things coming up. You have a live show at the State Theater in September, and also a convention. But it's not called merely a convention.
No.
It is?
It is the Mystery Science Theater 3000 ConventionCon Expo Festorama.
Yeah.
Which will get you in free if you can say that at the door, I think. That's pretty good.
That's right. Well, before we talk about some of those things coming up, though, I know that there are probably lots and lots of people out there who want to know a little bit about this, myself included. And, tell me, Kevin,
Yes.
you are one of the founding
Fathers.
members of this
Let's
whole
not
thing.
talk about his mother. No.
I think one leads to the other in this case.
Not work blue. This is an art show.
Yes.
Right.
At KTMA. How many years ago?
Boy, and down. Let's see, probably 1988.
Tell me about how this all started.
Well, Jim Mallon and I, Jim's the producer of the show, we're working there. We're doing some comedy on a local level. It was the smallest TV station in the market, and at number 6, and it didn't look like it was going to be going up in the near future, but our station manager was very liberal with allowing us to do some things and actually enjoyed what we were doing, so we did some comedy on the station and produced some things that got some great reaction. We did a New Year's Eve special, we did some parodies and some fun comedy, and we decided to try to open it up a little bit more to the community here, because Minneapolis has a terrific community of comedians. And one of the people who came to us was Joel Hodgson, who had the inkling of an idea for putting some people in front of a movie and talking about it. He expanded it and played with it and came up with this show idea and put it on. And much to our surprise, we started getting calls immediately. And by 20 shows later, we were tired of doing it at the station because it took a lot of energy. We'd have to turn the cameras around at 5 o'clock to shoot the wrestling show on the other side of the studio. That was an experience. So it was kind of like the best of local television, small market television, and it was a lot of fun. But at the same time, the Comedy Channel was starting up, and we pitched the show to Jim and Joel went out to New York, pitched the show to Comedy Channel. And they liked it, put it on, and we're still there.
That's wonderful.
The network has changed twice, and we're still there for crying out loud.
You're a staple.
I guess so.
I'm a paperclip, actually.
I'm Mavis Staple, and this is Papa Staple over here.
Well, Mr. Papa Staple, Frank, how did you come to this show?
Well, they had been doing it on the Comedy Channel for one season already, 13 shows. And I had been doing stand-up comedy here in Minneapolis, and I knew Joel. I'd worked with him several times, and I knew Mike Nelson, who was the head writer of the show, and they got renewed for a second season, and there was an opening, and I was just right there. I was just very lucky, and I'm very grateful.
Do either of you keep your hand in comedy per se on the stage, stand-up stuff?
I still am known to perform stand-up.
Frank still busts guts all over. Very funny on the stage.
That's great.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about this. Both of you write for the show. I'm kind of curious about how this process works with the films. You sit down and you watch and watch.
Yeah, we watch an entire movie, literally frame by frame. It takes an entire day. We do that for 2 days. And a bunch of writers sit around, and one of us will be at the computer, and everyone yells out comments, much more than ever get in the show. And one of us types them into the computer, and then a couple of the writers, after that process is done, take all the comments and assign them to Mike or Tom Servo, played by our own Kevin Murphy, and Crow T. Robot, played by Trace Blue, and they assign the lines, and there's a time code with the movie that we watch, so they know which lines to do it.
So you're not stepping on the movie's lines?
No, we actually, that took us a while to figure that out, to let the movie speak for itself, as horrifying as that can be, and stay out of the way of the plot, so to speak. And just sneak our comments in between the dialogue. And
Now, that's the one question I had. In the promo stuff that your studio sent out, there seemed to be some inflation about the number of quips, the calls you make to the thing. Now, it started out 400, I've seen figures 600, 700, 800.
It's up to 15,000.
15,000, it's just, that's why you're going frame by frame now.
That's a lot of funny stuff.
Oh, it varies, but the script is usually somewhere between 30 and 36 pages long. And it can go anywhere. I mean, we get about I'd say about 700 comments.
Really? Is that an intuitive thing where it feels right, or did you guys study this and say, with the modern sensitivity, watching MTV and the quick cuts and all that, we've got to pack it in there? Or?
No, we try not to think about it. I think it's pretty instinctive. Just stuff that we think is funny, and then as it turns out, other people find it funny too, and that's pretty much how we work.
I read also in some of the stuff that we got from your publicist that the New York Times described your show as the hippest, deepest satire of this generation. Now, did you have that in mind?
Wow.
It's amazing.
That sounds like it's too smart for me to even watch.
Great, I want to see this thing sometime.
It's very impressive. How would you describe the show?
A bunch of guys hanging around talking back at the theater screen.
Yeah, I would not, hippest, deepest, I would lean more towards goofiest, silliest.
Slightly obnoxious.
Yeah, that's wonderful that they say that, but we never think along those lines because you wouldn't be able, you'd be,
too serious.
It'd be too overwhelming, and it wouldn't be funny.
What's it like being part of a hit show that's based here in the middle of the continent? I mean, what you're not getting here is lots of commentary, as you would if you were in New York and the New York Times is writing about you, or the trades out in Los Angeles. I mean, how does that affect what you do or what you don't do?
The good thing is they leave us alone. Yeah. We don't have to go out to lunch with a bunch of people. We can stay there and do our work. It's really hard to find us. We don't have to live in Los Angeles, and we don't have to live in New York, and for me, that's a bonus.
But Hollywood is calling. Hello.
Even as we speak, Hollywood is calling.
I've heard, though. No, you've got some feature film stuff going on.
There's a possibility. It's still a possibility. Some folks from Universal have talked to us, and there's a possibility that we would make a film and that they would pick it up. But none of those things are so remote. I mean, they take a long time to develop.
Oh yeah.
And if we can figure it out, then we'd love to do it. I think this would be, the reason is this kind of talks to the live show too. The reason we thought about doing it as a movie is 2 years ago we did a live show here in town at the Uptown Theater. And it was amazing. It was a blast. We had 2 shows, 900 people, sold out. The place was to the rafters. They had banners out there with Frank's name on it and Forrester's name on it. And it was great, and people loved it. And we sat in this row in front of a big screen movie and had a blast. And people loved it. And we thought, if people, I mean, and they actually fed off each other. It seemed like it was a lot more fun to watch it in a group than it was to watch it just alone at home, even though that's a lot of fun. So we thought this is ideal to make into a movie for the theaters, because taking the same experience into a movie theater seems to amplify it.
And the plans for the State Theater are similar to do, you got the movie picked?
Yeah, we're going to do the same thing we did at the Uptown Theater, except it's going to be at the State, which is a bigger theater. It doesn't have a weird smell in the dressing room.
You've been there then.
As far as I've been told, it doesn't have a weird smell.
No.
But
sometimes after Joseph, I think.
Yeah, it smells like Donny Osmond sometimes, but yeah, and it's going to be just the same, except in the more comfortable.
Well, that's like 2,200 seats. Is
yeah, State Theater downtown.
What's puppets?
Yeah.
We'll have
How is that going to work?
We put up a row of seats, our own little row of seats, in front of the screen, and sit the puppets in front of them. And Mike is not a puppet. Mike is an actual human being. And we've got a big, beautiful movie.
Can you tell us what that movie is for September?
I think we'll hold that as a little surprise.
Okay.
But let me say, it's color, it's late 50s, it's a lot of fun.
Is it hard?
Ben-Hur?
Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia.
They'll be running that over and over. Is it hard to keep finding movies? I mean,
Frank can speak to this, because he's the one who goes through these piles of tapes that we get.
Yeah.
You look like you spend a lot of time in archives and windowless rooms.
I do, on my own time too, which is really scary.
not for us.
So this is not a union kind of job here.
No, it's it's becoming harder and harder, because we've gone through over 100 shows already, and it's just finding the right. There's millions of bad films. That supply never runs out. That's an endless supply, and we still haven't reached bottom in terms of how bad a film. But we have to find just the right tonality and just the right. We don't like doing stuff that has a lot of gratuitous violence or over. A lot of nude scenes and sex. I mean, I have to watch those films, and
you need to screen all of that.
I need to screen them and study them to
sometimes
decide,
very carefully,
and frame by frame.
But then
I understand.
He takes his work home at night.
After watching some of those, 11 or 12 times, I decide we won't do it.
What are you looking for? What kind of tone?
Well, one thing we need is room for us to make comments. Now, if a film has a lot of narration, if it has a lot of dialogue, then there's no room for us to make any comments, so we can't use it. And I don't know, what else would you say?
It has to have some sort of vague, at least, notion of having had a plot at one time in the history.
And we've stretched this rule, believe me.
Yes. The ones I've seen, I think you stretched past.
We've had actually absolutely plotless films, and they're very difficult to do. If they have some type of plot where you know that something is going to lead, even though you have no idea what it is, and the writer may completely lose you along the way.
We just did a film that was, more than half of it was just jets flying,
We counted it, 9 total minutes of jets refueling.
Yeah, a lot of
you didn't stumble on the jet training films out of Colorado Springs?
It was close to
Very
that,
close.
yeah.
Very close.
Well, one of the films that I was watching did have an awful lot of stock footage in it.
Yeah, stock footage is a very common thing in a lot of our films. Yeah.
You saw Invasion USA. It's kind of like Hamburger Helper for films. You can throw that stuff in there.
Yeah, and A Date with the Family was the other one that I saw.
That's a piece of work.
It is really something.
That ought not be missed.
No, that's true.
That's a whole short about how to suppress your feelings when you're having dinner with your family, which we in the Midwest know a lot about.
How not to talk, how not to function, how not to have a healthy relationship.
Good stuff.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about the convention too.
The convention it's great. It's just about sold out. 2,000 people are coming to Minneapolis from all over the country. And we have more people coming from out of state than we do from in-state to this thing. Our biggest fans, and they're coming here to the Radisson Convention Center to just celebrate the film, the show.
And then they're going to come to the State Theater also for their
They've got a Saturday night show which is sold out, and that's the 17th.
But there's plenty of tickets available for the Friday and Thursday night show.
Yes,
so.
and let's make sure everybody has that. It is September 15th and 16th at the Historic State Theater.
The Historic State Theater.
Downtown Minneapolis.
That's right, downtown Minneapolis. Tickets, you
not the historic Moby Dick's, but the Historic State Theater.
The State Theater.
Tickets through Ticketmaster, or you can call 989-5151.
That's 989-5151.
Well, it's just been a pleasure having you both here.
It's been a pleasure being had.
And we're happy to have you doing your show in the Twin Cities. We hope you stay here for a long time.
Oh, we sure will.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back after we take a look at the artifacts question. And we're back. Now, if you happen to know the answer to the artifacts question, please call us at the City Cable 34 hotline. That number is 673-2234. Now, next month, we're really quite excited because we're going to be on location for one of our segments, and we're going to have Donna Norberg on to talk about the Minnesota Association of Community Theaters, their big regional conference.
And we hope you enjoyed the show, and we hope you will watch next month as well. And before we go, we have our infamous events calendar for you to check out. Thanks for watching. Coordinator of that office, having replaced the multi-talented Randy Adamsick, who is now the executive director of the Minnesota State Film Board. A wallpaper pattern.
I need to do a room in my house. Yeah, that's pretty good. Sure. You know, you're right. That may not be Pat Shorter. It actually looks like City Council member Dory Mead. I think that could be it.
Not the slightest resemblance.
Yeah. See, I kind of like this this theater here that they've arranged for us. Isn't that kind of nice? Yeah.
Surround sound.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I fell asleep in that theater once. It's pretty good.
Looks like the theater does look strangely familiar.
Do you ever go to any of these things?
These events?
Yeah.
I've never been to a contra dance, no.
Oh, well, I have. Those are fun. I have to say, those are kind of fun. Yeah.
What's this one? A happy birthday celebration.
They're actually serving cake at that one.
Oh, I'll go.
Yeah, you get free cake.
What more do I need?
Well, I don't know. Wallpaper choices? I don't know. Sure.
Oh, the trade show.
Yeah. Now you've got
one.
Good. Yeah. Now you go to these though, don't you?
Yeah.
They pay you to go to these?
No.
No. Okay.
And if they did, I wouldn't say.
You wouldn't say. But you probably even know what all of these darn initials stand for. It's alphabet soup. Look, there's another one.
That's MVA.
Yeah.
MVA.
Oh, that looks lively. IRS guidelines?
Very, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't be beat.
Yeah.
Can't be beat.
Look, there's a snappy segment on over there. Yeah.
Storyboards.
Yeah.
Oh.
Welcome back. I'm here with two
John Ritter.
Back when he had a career.
Yeah. Oh. Good. No, really. Yeah.
Well, you think I should start wearing ties again?
No. I kind of like that. Very nice handshake there, Phil.
I've practiced that.